Mets have never thrown him out. He's been successful 52 consecutive times against the Mets.
He takes up high 1-2. Big thing against the Cardinals is you have to have soft hands and make accurate throws. You've got to keep their speedsters off the bases. Coleman, Smith. There's Coleman's ground ball. This should be close. Boom. Just got it. Wow. Scored 6-3, 1 down. Rest of the lineup for the Cardinals after Coleman. You'll see Ozzie Smith, Jose Oquendo, Pedro Guerrero, Tom Bernansky, Terry Pendleton, Milt Thompson, Todd Zeal, and then Ted Power.
Kevin Elster made a fine play on that ground ball. He took the ball in the rise. He had to do that in order to throw Coleman out. If he had waited for the ball to come down, it would have been no contest and Coleman would have been on. Now watch this play on the replay. He takes the ball coming up. Got to it nicely, and he has to fire to first to get him. Close play.
Well, Ozzie Smith, the batter, he's batting .271, 1 home run, 46 RBIs. Swung on a missed strike 1. You know, it's funny, it just shows you the type of ball club the Cardinals have when you have to show a replay on really an ordinary play.
They got speed, there's no doubt about it. They manufactured 2 runs yesterday, winning 3-2 with 2 unearned runs coming in as a result of errors, one by Carter the catcher on an overthrow and a steal of second by Coleman, and one by Jeffries.
Fouled off 0-2. Another thing the Cardinals have, and they have it because he's a veteran manager and he's supposed to be the best manager in baseball, Whitey Herzog. Once they get on the bases, he can do unorthodox things because he's rarely second guessed. Wow, this is outside 1-2. That helps. If you're a rookie manager or you're a guy that they're going to second guess, sometimes you have to go by the book. But Whitey's considered the best manager in baseball. Rarely is he second guessed. So he can do some unorthodox things. That ball's popped up and out of play. So the count remains 1-2. I think if he managed in New York, Whitey might be second guessed a little more than he would managing in St. Louis.
Well, there's no doubt about that. And of course, every manager will be second guessed because he doesn't always pull the right button or punch the right button.
But of course, once you get that credibility, you can do some wild things. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Up high, 2-2.
In St. Louis, they rarely question him because he's tough on them when they ask some kind of a question that doesn't seem to fit into what he wants to answer.
Oh, he'll jump on members of the media in a second. Here's the 2-2 pitch. It's up the middle. Should be another close play. Score that one 6-3, 2 down. If you're not strong up the middle against the Cardinals, forget it.
Well, another good play by Elster. He has to go over and back of the mound to come up with this one. This time he's in throwing position, so it's an easier play. He's facing first base when he fields the ball. The Cardinals have won only 3 games here at Shea Stadium in their last 17, so they're not nearly as tough on grass as they are on artificial turf. Of course, at Busch Stadium, they play on artificial turf, and they bounce that ball all over the place.
Here's Jose Oquendo. Takes the curveball for a ball. 1-0. He's batting .297, no home runs, 44 RBIs. What a story. What a success story, Jose Oquendo. Outside, 2-0. He's gone from a guy who didn't get much respect to batting third for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Kind of a strange third place hitter, though. He has no home runs. Coleman has 1, Smith has 1, and Oquendo has none. So their first 3 batters with just 2 home runs.
But again, the Cardinal offense.
They do it with speed. They're last in the National League in home runs with 62.
When they
They're
had
first in hitting, 260.
Here's the 3-0 pitch. A few weeks ago, the Cardinals had 59 home runs. Whitey Herzog said, "We will catch Maris."
And he has been right.
Here's the 3-1 pitch. Down low, ball 4.
Oquendo doesn't have good speed. He looks like he can run, but he doesn't. He has 3 stolen bases in 7 attempts this year. And he has a total of 31 stolen bases in his major league career, and he's in his 7th year. So you don't have to really worry about him, but the Cardinals do run a lot. They're third in the National League in stolen bases with 135, but Coleman has almost all of those. He has 58.
Look at those stats. He's one of the most, if not the most important guy in the Cardinal club. He's batting .315, 12 home runs, 97 RBIs for Pedro Guerrero. Cardinals have played 139 games, and he's played in 136. What a trade by the Cardinals, picking up Pedro Guerrero from the Dodgers last year. And it was questioned by just about everybody. They gave up John Tudor.
Well, Tudor broke down, and so there's not much to compare. He is back pitching again for the Dodgers, but it's questionable if he'll ever regain the form he had when he was such a great pitcher for the Cardinals.
1-0 on Guerrero. Beautiful day here at Shea. Swung on and missed, 1-1.
Guerrero drove in 2 runs in last night's 3-2 victory for St. Louis. And with runners in scoring position, he's devastating, hitting .413.
I'd pitch around him anytime runners were in scoring position, make somebody else in the Cardinals drive him in.
His only backup is Bernansky and Pendleton. They alternate behind him.
Here's the 1-1 pitch. Foul out of play. 1-2. I mean, if you're going to face a team like the Cardinals and he's their big RBI man, if a base is open, it doesn't have to be first base. It could be second base. It could be third base. I'd walk this guy.
I go with that because he's having that kind of a year. Player of the month of August, hitting .363 with 41 league-leading hits in August, 26 runs batted in.
And the 1-2 pitch, way inside, 2-2. I would say he's the most valuable player on the Cardinal ball club, Ralph.
Absolutely. Without him, they really wouldn't score any runs. You can steal a lot of bases, but you can't steal home, at least not very often.
2-2, 2 outs. Runner on first base. Fouled out of play again.
The last series the Cardinals played here, the Mets won 4 out of 5 and left the Cardinals 6.5 games behind. They have played outstanding baseball ever since. And now they're only a half game back.
Nobody's going to figure out this game. When the Cubs were here in New York, the Cubs told me their best pitcher, and they felt their only pitcher right now, was Greg Maddux. They split the series with the Mets. They go to Philadelphia, and Maddux takes the loss. Down low, 3-2. So 3 balls, 2 strikes on Pedro Guerrero, 2 men out. Top of the first inning, Cardinals and the Mets. Cardinals, as Ralph mentioned, a half game behind the Cubs. Montreal 2 back. And the Mets 3.5 out. Really is quite a race in the National League East. Swung on and missed, strike 3. So Guerrero goes down. Fastball from Zeal behind the plate. And power on the mound. And the Mets need power from the plate. Greg Jefferies leads it off. He's batting .247, 4 home runs, 40 RBIs, and he takes a strike.
He was 2 for 4 last night. And in his 19 games as a leadoff batter, he's hitting .350 with 14 runs scored.
A tough year for Greg Jefferies on and off the field with the Mets. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Down low. 1-1. I mentioned the Mets in the Eastern Division, 3.5 games out. Montreal 2 behind the Cubs. Cardinals a half game back. 1-1 pitch to Jefferies. There's a drive to right field. It's over Bernansky's head. It's off the top of the wall. A double for Greg Jefferies. He missed a home run by about a half a foot. Boy, he smoked that ball.
Center fielder, number
Well, Jefferies gets his 25th 2-base hit. He's had 2 home runs. And he does hit this ball hard, right off the top of the fence, right at the 371 mark. And he goes into second base with a 2-base hit. So he continues to do a great job as a batter in the leadoff position.
The batter now, Juan Samuel. Greg Jeffries on second base, nobody out. If you just tuned in, we're in the bottom of the first inning, the Mets and the Cardinals. Swung on and missed. Strike one. Samuel batting .243, 11 home runs and 40 RBIs. He has scored 61 times. He'll be followed by Howard Johnson, and down in the hole, Darryl Strawberry. And the 0-1 pitch. You hold up? No.
Well, that's his problem right there. He stands so far from the plate that there's no way he can get the bat on the ball on outside breaking balls. And this is an outside curve out of the strike zone. He goes too far as he tries to hold up. Just doesn't give himself a chance in the batter's box.
It's funny, when you think of the Latin American players over the years, they tend to stay off the plate and try to use the whole field. Rarely are they on top of the plate. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Samuel. Inside. 2-1.
He really gets himself in deep trouble two ways. He stands away from the plate and then tries to move into the ball, so he's vulnerable to the inside fastball and the outside curve. Now everybody can be vulnerable one way to some degree, but not two ways.
Jeffries leads off second base, 1-2 on Juan Samuel. Chopper to third base. Pendleton goes to first. And he gets Samuel.
That's a real poor at bat right there, because you got to move the runner up, and he pulls the ball into the third base side, and the runner has to hold at second.
Number 20, Howard Johnson.
So one man down, and Howard Johnson will be the batter. Johnson batting .290, 32 home runs and 86 RBIs. He has scored 91 runs. A lot of times a hitter, when he gets on top of the plate, he has a lot of confidence in being able to handle the real good fastball. I think it's tough to convince a guy to get on top of the plate if he has trouble with his confidence as far as the fastball is concerned. Breaking ball is blocked by Zeal. Nice play. Todd Zeal, young catcher with the Cardinals, they're very high on him. One of the reasons they think that Tony Pena will play out his option and go to another ball club.
Well, power in the dirt with this pitch. And it's blocked off to the right side, and Jeffries has to hold as Zeal quickly gets to the ball.
It's amazing. At one time, we talked about the other night, you're taught to get in front of the ball, forget catching the ball. Then with the new glove, with the hinge in the glove, players tend to go down and try to catch the ball first, and if they don't catch it, they hope they block it. But at one time, it was just drop to your knees and block the ball. And a 1-0 pitch, fouled back and out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike. Ever since the Mets started rolling up those sleeves, they've stopped driving the ball. You think of anything to do with it, Ralph?
They're out of balance.
Not used to rolling up those sleeves.
Mets are second in home runs with 121. They're 7th in hitting, 4th in stolen bases, and 5th in runs scored. If you look at Darryl Strawberry.
And the 1-1 pitch. Fouled off again. Saw Darryl Strawberry standing out of the on-deck circle, getting a good look at the pitcher's pitches. Surprised Whitey doesn't force him to get into the on-deck circle. You don't have as good a look at the pitcher's pitches when you're on the on-deck circle.
I've seen Early Wynn throw it on-deck batters when they're not in that circle.
Early must have been the toughest guy on the face of the earth.
I actually saw him knock his son down while he was taking batting practice. He actually threw at his own son.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. Strike 3. Good pitch from Ted Power. Runner still on second base, and now 2 outs.
Right fielder, number 18.
Well, Howard Johnson with the fastball right here. He starts to swing and tries to hold up and goes too far. So A strikeout there, and Power on the verge of getting out of the inning after the leadoff double by Jeffrey.
Two men down. And Darryl Strawberry, the batter. He's batting .229, 27 home runs and 69 RBIs, and he takes a strike. Ralph, leaving runners on base, to me, if I was a defensive player, it's a psychological lift. I know to the Mets it's we didn't drive in the run, but to the defensive team it's a psychological lift.
Well, when you don't take advantage of your opportunities, and a leadoff double definitely is an opportunity, it's got to help the opposition.
And it takes away, I think, when you start the game, everybody has an up-tempo. But when you leave runners on base, I think you lose that tempo. And sometimes it's tough to regain it. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. 0-2.
The other side of that coin is later on in the ballgame, after you have had situations where you should score and you don't, the pressure mounts.
That's right. And you don't have confidence to capitalize. The Mets have had some wonderful opportunities since they played the Cubs on Monday night, and they have not been able to capitalize on those opportunities. And the 0-2 pitch. Oh boy. 1-2. Todd Zeal looking into the dugout. I wonder if he's getting some help from Mike Rourke or Whitey Herzog in calling the game. Jeffrey's on second base. 1-2 on Strawberry. Two men down. Outside with the fastball. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And a ball game tied at 2-2 in last night's game. In the 6th inning, Strawberry and McReynolds were on. They were on first and second with no one out, and the Mets didn't advance them as Hernandez hit into a double play. Carter popped up.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Down low. 3-2. There's no two ways around it. This guy has to hit, and hit with power.
Well, you put Guerrero's numbers in this spot in Strawberry's position, and it's a whole new standing order.
Darryl got to deliver. The heat is on Darryl. There's Pedro Guerrero. He has delivered for the Cardinals. That's why they're a half game out. Darryl will be the first one to tell you he's struggling, and he has struggled most of the year. Even though he has 27 home runs, he only has 69 RBIs. Three-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. So the Mets strand a runner on second base, and he's got to be confused. We've played one here at Shea. No score. St. Louis and New York. Popped up. Is it playable? No. Cardinals are getting some good production from their 3rd and 4th hitters. Or I should say their 4th and 5th hitters as far as driving in runs. See Dwight Gooden. I heard his MRI was successful. He's healthy. They're hoping to use him Tuesday in Philadelphia, get him some innings. Boy, will that be a lift to the Mets. 1-1.
He's been on the DL since July 1st.
Imagine having him back healthy. Up high. 2-1. You know, something to be said for the Mets organization that they are patient with him, because I think Dwight Gooden wants to pitch right now, but they're not going to force him back in there. There's a high fly ball left field. McReynolds has room. Glass is down. He makes the grab. 1 down. Talk about Dwight Gooden. I think, Ralph, if I was the manager or the general manager, I'd be a little bit anxious to get him back in there, because obviously this is quite a pennant race. And would that be a psychological lift for the Mets? As much of a downer as it was when he left, it'll be just as much a lift when he comes back.
It'll be a two-way lift for the Mets. They'll be able then to take a starter out of the rotation and put him in the bullpen. The Mets are very light in the bullpen.
The batter now, Terry Pendleton. He's batting .262 and he takes down low, ball 1. He has 2 home runs and 67 RBIs.
12 home runs, a career high. He has hit 1 home run as a right-handed batter. So 11 of his home runs have been hit batting left-handed.
He hits it off the end of the bat. Jeffries makes the play. Score that one 4-3. 2 down. You know, Ralph, you talked about moving a starter out of the starting rotation into the bullpen. That's going to be a tough decision for Davey.
Well, whoever is moved into the bullpen will be unhappy. You can bet on that.
Davey's going to have to convince him it's a good move. It's funny when they're grooming relief pitchers in the minor leagues, they're set mentally when they come into the major leagues to work out of the bullpen. But when you move a starter into the bullpen, you always have a problem.
Especially a veteran starter.
Here's Milt Thompson. Takes strike 1 from Frank Viola. Thompson batting .286, 4 home runs and 55 RBIs. Gets the ball off the end of the bat and hits Barry Lyons. Barry doesn't wear the protection the Dodgers have devised. They call it the Steve Yeager throat guard. Here's a little piece of the mask that extends down. Sometimes on a foul ball you'll turn your head. Not a good idea.
Call that the Billy Goat, don't they?
The extension down.
Yeah.
I know they were calling the other one. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Inside. 1-2. We're talking about starting pitchers. There's Bobby Ojeda. Bobby, you have a chance to go to bullpen? Probably. Down low. 2-2.
You know, on the off day last week, Bob Ojeda visited the Thule Indian Reservation in Portersville, California, and he was made an honorary member of the Thule tribe. And he has a special charity fund that he sends to the Thule tribe to raise money for displaced and orphaned Indian children.
There's a ground ball down the right field line. Extra bases for Milt Thompson. He'll hold on at second base with a double. Good hitting by Milt Thompson. He was supposed to be the type of guy to struggle against left-handed pitching. He's done the job this year for the Cardinals.
He has filled in for Willie McGee, who again is sidelined because of a pulled muscle, and has done that job against left-hand pitching, and they had the tag on him that he couldn't hit left-handers, but he's having a great year, batting .286 before that double. That is his 21st two-base hit.
Well, 2 men out. Milt Thompson on second base. The batter will be Todd Zeile. He's batting .241, 1 home run and 1 RBI since being recalled from Louisville, where he hit .289 with 19 home runs and 85 RBIs. He was the starting catcher for the American Association All-Stars.
And how about this? The Cardinals have become the first team in the history of Major League Baseball to have a home run from every player whose last name started with every letter in the alphabet, with the exception of X. There's never been a player that has played in the major leagues whose last name started with an X. And Zeile completed the alphabet, with the exception of the letter X, when he had a home run the other day. A to Z.
Well, you're an analyst. Why didn't they have a guy in the major leagues with the last name beginning with X?
How many people do you know that has a last name with the letter X starting his last name?
Just Joe Xanadu. I think that was a movie. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Down low. 2-1. By the way, Todd Zeile married a young lady I think we're all familiar with, former U.S. Olympic gymnast Julianne McNamara.
Who would you take, Ozzie Smith or her, as the acrobatic player of the year?
All due respect to Ozzie, but I'm going with Todd's wife. Here's a fly ball center field. Plenty of room for Juan Samuel, and that'll do it for the Cards. They fail to score. They strand a runner on second base, but we didn't belabor it. After 1.5, no score. The Cardinals and the Mets. Ted Power on the hill. Swung on a miss, strike 1.
McReynolds with a leadoff home run back in the second inning of yesterday's ball game, his 19th. It was his 11th off of the Cardinals in his career and his 4th this year off St. Louis.
inside, 1-1. His old team seems to be on the move. The San Diego Padres beat the Houston Astros last night. They jumped ahead of the Astros in the West, and they trailed the Giants by 6 games. There's a fly ball left center field. Milt Thompson drifting over and calling for it. Down.
Oh, Houston really going down the drain. They're now 7 games back. They have been playing bad baseball. San Francisco holding on.
It's been a wild year. This Eastern Division makes no sense. The Mets are supposed to run away with it. They have not. They have. But there's a strike to Dave Magadan. He's batting .288, 4 home runs, 35 RBIs. Most important thing is to win it, because if the Mets win it, everything else will be forgotten.
It'll take about 92 or 93 wins to win this year.
Everything's forgotten when you win it. All your imperfections. Foul down the left field line. 0-2. I'll never forget in the '77 World Series with the Yankees and the Dodgers. Of course, Reggie Jackson, Billy Martin did not get along. They were hugging. I mean, they were literally embracing after the World Series.
Almost had a fight on the bench during that season.
Yeah, oh yeah, and everything was forgotten. When you win the World Series, forget it. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Swung in and missed. 2 down.
Ted Power picks up his 3rd strikeout. They've all been on fastballs.
The catcher, number 33, Barry
And going for the high fastball there.
Well, Power's a veteran right-hander. Mentioned he was signed as a free agent by the Cardinals back in March after he was released by Detroit. He's 6-6 on the year. So Whitey Herzog once again doing the job, picking up some players to help the cause. And here's Barry Lyons, who takes a strike.
We got to give Dal Maxwell some credit, the general manager, but also I think a lot of the credit has to go to Mike Rourke, the pitching coach. He has done a job with reclaimed players.
Breaking ball misses outside, 1-1. By the way, Lyons batting .246, 3 home runs and 22 RBIs.
Hitting .364 against the Cardinals this year.
On his right, Mike Rourke. Popped up. Ozzie Smith says, "I've got it. Everybody else hold your ground." And that'll do it for the Mets. They go quietly here in the 2nd inning. 3 up, 3 down. We've played 2. Still no score here. Eddie Goodell.
Eddie Goodell, the midget that played for the St. Louis Browns when Bill Veeck owned the ball club, walked in 4 pitches in his only official at bat.
Saw a story about the Browns on television last night, a show produced by the boys at Phoenix Communications. Used to be known as Major League Films. They do a great job. Ted Power, the batter, pulls the ball foul. 0-1. Guys from Phoenix Communications put together some footage at different ballparks throughout baseball. Put the footage together with music. 0-2 on Power. In fact, those guys from Phoenix Communications produced This Week in Baseball and the Pennant Chase. Misses outside, 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Ted Power. And that'll do it. 1 down. I talked about the National League division races. In the American League East, the Toronto Blue Jays 2 games on top of the Orioles. There's another Met fan. He wants a bat too.
left fielder, Vince Cole.
Boston Red Sox 7 games back. I was talking to Peter Gammons, who's here at the ballpark today. Peter Gammons, a fine writer for Sports Illustrated, lives in the Boston area, said that complete havoc up there, Ralph, in the clubhouse. Said it's unbelievable. Here's Vince Coleman. Pigs down low, ball 1. Got to keep this guy off the bases. He has stolen 58 bases in 63 attempts this year. And a 1-0 pitch. Fly ball left field. Coleman doing the Mets a favor. And Reynolds almost missed that ball. If you're going to drop a ball, you don't want to drop it on Vince Coleman. 2 down.
Shortstop, Ozzie Smith.
I was talking about that Red Sox situation. Peter Gammons told me that Joe Morgan, the manager there, said 3 guys have to go: Stanley, Rice, and Gedman. In the West, the Oakland A's leading by 4.5 games over Kansas City. There's a strike to Ozzie Smith, who grounded out his first time up.
Getting back to the National League, Matt Williams hit his 16th home run last night
What a year he's
for
having.
the San Francisco Giants. He now has the lead for the most home runs hit in professional baseball this year.
Sure. What do you have? 20, about
26 at Phoenix.
It's unbelievable.
He now has a total of 42 home runs, 1 more than Kevin Mitchell.
2-1 on Ozzie Smith. Cardinals go to Chicago tomorrow. Pirates come into New York. Ground ball. Hojo makes the play. Scored 5-3. Johnson to Magadan, and that'll do it for the Cardinals. 3 up, 3 down here in the third.
Mother and father of Fran Healy, and of course you have to give them a Distinguished Service Cross raising a child like Fran Healy.
You're absolutely right, Ralph. As Kevin Elster hits a fly ball out of sight, but foul.
Where did they go wrong?
Well, I'll tell you, they had 5 children, and Mrs. Healy has a lot of gray hair from only 1 child. I can guarantee you that.
And an uncle that played in Major League Baseball.
Played with the Gas House gang, the Cardinals.
His name was Fran Healy.
That's right. He also played for John McGraw with the Giants here in New York. Outside to Kevin Elster. 1-1. Didn't you get a letter asking?
I got a letter one time from a guy. He says, I've been looking at Fran Healy on television, and if my memory serves me correctly, Fran Healy played ball for McGraw, which would put it way back.
And knocked down by Pendleton, but Elster is safe. Leadoff man on here in the 3rd inning. That's unusual, Terry Pendleton.
Well, Pendleton leads all third basemen in fielding percentage at .971. And if this is scored an error, and it is, it will be only his 14th error all year. And he really fought that ball. And Elster is on. But anyway, getting back to that letter, he said, Fran Healy, the announcer, if that's the same person, I want to get whatever he uses to stay young.
My uncle's about 80 years old.
That cost me some money. I had to answer him and tell him that you were his nephew.
It's good for 80 years old. It's nice to know. Frank Viola, the batter. See what happens. The Mets have their leadoff man on here in the 3rd inning. No score. The Cardinals and the Mets. Frank squares the bunt and fouls the ball off. Strike 1. Boy, Guerrero and Pendleton weigh in.
And in the ballpark here today and delivering salamis, corned beef sandwiches, you name it, the 2nd Avenue Delicatessen. And if Frank Viola wins the game here, if you take the rain check from this ball game, if you're in the ballpark, and take it down to the 2nd Avenue Deli, you can get a salami sandwich.
And there goes Elster. Ball's bunted in front of the plate. And Zeal goes to first base. They get Viola. So Davy Johnson putting Elster in motion. He probably would have stolen the base.
Second baseman, Greg Jeffries.
So the sacrifice by Viola, and an unusual one, as a first baseman, isn't even on the bag. Takes the throw halfway up the line and makes the tag on Viola on the sacrifice. So it was the bunt and run play that puts the runner in scoring position.
So Kevin Elster down on second base. And the batter, Greg Jeffries. Jeffries doubled hard to right field his first time up. Just missed a home run by about a foot. He's really coming around. Takes a strike. He even looks more comfortable at the plate. I guess that comes with base hits.
It certainly does come with base hits, but it also comes because he's been more selective on the pitches that he swings at since taking over as a leadoff batter. He has been really watching the ball and getting pitches, thinking about walks instead of home runs. So selective, he's down 2 strikes.
0-2, 1 man down. By the way, the Mets at home, keep in mind, 46-25, the best in the NL.
Jeffries taking that pitch, following it back into the catcher's glove. That's a great habit to get into. Johnny Mize was the best I ever saw.
Is that right? I remember Pete Rose was the best around for about 20 years. And the 0-2 pitch to Jeffries. Pulls it foul. Earlier in the year, we had an interview with Von Hayes from Philadelphia when he was tearing up the league. He said he gave credit to watching. What happened was he watched Wade Boggs in spring training. Boggs would watch the ball right into the glove, so he imitated Boggs. He felt it really helped.
Excuse me, it really helped him in the first month. He just tore up the leg in that first month.
Did you watch the ball into the glove?
I used to go down while a pitcher is warming up and follow the ball right into the glove.
I used to close my eyes, I think. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Fouled out of play.
No question, Fran, that all hitters are better umpires from the side than umpires are from behind home plate.
Boy, that's the truth, isn't it? I think the guy who has the best view of the ball is the catcher.
He also knows what's coming most of the time.
That's right. You can fool an umpire with the pitch. Here's the 0-2 pitch. And he drives the ball foul into the crowd down the left field line.
Good job right there. That was a very tough pitcher's pitch, and he stayed in there, followed it, and fouled it off, and that might give you a better chance on the next pitch. Watch him now. This ball low and outside, and he fights it off and fouls it off. That's what.
Well, it's 0-2 on Jeffries. No score. We're in the bottom of the 3rd inning. 1 out. Kevin Elster on second base. They stranded Jeffries on second base in the 1st. Whoa. 1-2.
That was a little purpose pitch right there. After he saw Jeffries fight off that outside pitch and lean out over the plate, he said, we'll have to correct that habit. So it comes right in under his chin.
It's not a bad pitch.
Good pitch. Outstanding pitch.
Well, let's see what happens. 1-2. Down and in. 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes. That's another good pitch foul.
Sign of a good hitter. When you can do this on tough pitches, and this is another one outside, just foul it off. Sometime soon the pitcher's going to make a mistake. Fortunately, they do make a lot of mistakes.
And the 2-2 pitch. Line drive, foul. He's really taking some good rips. As you mentioned, Ralph fouling off pitches that are real good pitchers' pitches and taking advantage of mistakes. Do you believe in the theory that you get one good pitch to hit every at bat?
I don't know if it's that consistent, but you certainly get a pitch you can handle at least once every at bat, and you got to be able to hit it. The bad hitters don't hit it.
And they check Kevin Elster. A lot of times the pitcher will step off the rubber because he wants to take another sign. This is probably the case because they're going through the signs again.
Ted Power against Atlanta on August 22nd had a 7 1/3 no-hitter going. He gave up a 2-run home run to Tommy Gregg that broke it up.
2-2 pitch. Another good rip. Fouls that ball off.
8 foul balls right there in this at bat. He thought he had a good pitch to hit there.
Yes, he did. Weighs a lot of confidence, doesn't he?
I think you got to like that.
Oh, boy. He's not going to hit unless he has confidence. He's a nice kid. Here's the 2-2 pitch. There's a long fly ball. Deep right field. Gone. Home run. A 2-run dinger for Greg Jeffries, and the Mets take the lead. What an at-bat for Greg Jeffries.
There was ever a textbook time at bat, that was it, and certainly proved out the theory that you get one good pitch to hit. He might have had two, but that one was a hanging curveball, and he just took it over the right field fence. So Jeffries fouling off 9 pitches and then coming through with the 2-run home run to put the Mets up. What a job of hitting in that at bat.
Juan Samuel, the batter, takes outside, ball 1. Boy, did the Mets need that. 2-0 here in the 3rd.
That is his 5th home run this year. Last year in the month of September, he hit 6 home runs for the New York Mets when he hit .321. Here's the pitch. It's a hanging curveball, and he gets all over it. So after missing a home run his first time at bat, hitting a double off the top of the fence, he puts one over.
Samuel takes inside, 3-0.
Here's a side view of this swing. Boy, he's a little out in front, but he used those wrists perfectly, stayed back with his hands, and it's out of there.
How about that, slapping those hands together? He's a character.
He's emotional.
Yes, he is. 3-1 on Samuel, and he's happy. We've seen him frustrated. It's funny, when he made those outs, he would sit down and not say anything. Now he hit that home run, he wants to talk. He wants to tell anybody to listen about it. 3-1 pitch. 3-2.
He was hitting .216 again. That's his first home run against St. Louis, and the 6th home run given up by Ted Power.
Can this be the start of the Greg Jeffries month?
It is September.
He did it last year. Three-two pitch. And there's a high fly ball, deep left center field. Milt Thompson has room. That's a big league fly ball right there. 2 down.
Third baseman Howard Johnson.
Whitey's thinking about fishing.
Yes, he is.
You know, he turned down the Cub job before he took the Cardinal job. He said, I don't want to manage in Wrigley Field. They play all day games. I can't go fishing in the morning.
Well, he's done a great job with the Cardinals. And Howard Johnson, the batter. He's 0 for 1. He struck out. And Hojo drives the ball deep right field. Bernansky back. Home run. Howard Johnson. 3-0 Mets. And the heat is on. Strawberry, the batter. He takes down low, ball 1. It's 3-zip New York, but they still have to get this guy going. And the 1-0 pitch. Takes a strike, 1-1.
Well, Howard Johnson, the only member of the 33-33 club this year.
You like those clubs, huh? And there's a looper. Smith makes the grab, and that'll do it for the Mets here in the 3rd. But a few moments ago, and here to tell you about that conversation, Mr. Rusty Staub.
All right, Viola to Oquendo. Strike 1. The only thing I can possibly think of is that he might have wanted to check both bats.
Especially Hojo's.
He's only confiscated that bat about 7 times now and never found anything yet. Big inning for the Mets. 2 home runs. One by young Greg Jeffries, one by Howard Johnson. Swing and a miss at a slow curveball. Good pitch by Frank Viola. Jose Aquindo and a lot of guys in this Cardinal club, Iron Man. Between Aquindo and Pedro Guerrero, Terry Pendleton, each only missing 1 game this season. Outside corner, strike 3. Jose not particularly pleased with that call. Pitcher's pitch all the way.
Well, Frank Viola has to be happy with 3 runs. He's probably real keyed up. That's a borderline pitch right there, and Viola gets it.
Has he ever had a game where they've scored 3 runs for him before? I don't think so.
Well, the game he won in Los Angeles, it was 1-0.
He's got that curveball working. Throw out on a fastball his first time up. That was a good breaking ball.
What a shot in the arm for the Mets if they get Gooden back next week to get Frank Viola. They have one heck of a starting pitching staff right now.
Yes, they do, and they will. Mets' problem, for the most part, have been getting some runs up on the scoreboard. They've had some games where they've scored early, but then they sit on the lead. They've had a tremendous problem, not only getting runners in from third base with less than 2 out, but getting those insurance runs, which ensure a win. Ball's hit very hard and deep, and that is out of this ballpark. Pedro Guerrero, a big home run.
Well, he's the guy. He and Tom Bernansky can hit home runs with this Cardinal ball club. His 13th home run of the season, but that's deceiving because he plays most of his games, or at least half of his games, at Busch Stadium in St. Louis, not a home run hitter's ballpark. I tell you, Rusty, you get paranoid after a while, and I wouldn't pitch them.
Wouldn't let him hurt?
No, I wouldn't let him hurt me. Again, of course, paranoia sets in when you don't score runs.
Bernansky up, swings at a pitch out of the strike zone, strike 1.
Here's the home run. Guy's an excellent major league hitter.
Think you knew it was out?
Yeah, he's styling now. I like it when a guy hits a home run, he styles.
Well, he's hit a few home runs that have been doubles when he's been styling.
Oh, yes. You can't do that.
He did it once and got a single. That's this year.
Of course, he's got bad legs, so if you're going to style, make sure it goes over the fence.
1-1 on Bernansky. Ball inside. Let's check another angle of that home run.
Here it is. He gets the head of the bat. Looked like he hit the ball towards the end of the bat. He's strong.
Reached out a little bit. Strength is there. Line drive by Elster. Tough play for Elster. Would have been a great play had he stopped it. And a single for Bernansky. So back-to-back line drives from the Cardinals on Viola.
Terry Pendleton.
Pendleton grounded up to Jeffries his first time up. 1 down. Mets leading 3-1. It's got those 3 runs in the bottom of the 3rd.
By the way, Rusty, I was just told by Kip Engel, public relations man from the St. Louis Cardinals, that Ted Powers coming out of the ballgame, strained his groin.
Line drive foul.
Matt Kinzer warming up in the Cardinal bullpen. So Ted Power has hurt himself.
Viola ready. Swing and a miss by Pendleton. A very conservative lead at first base. Tom Bernansky not noted for stolen bases. He does have 4 in 11 attempts. I'm sure a lot of those have been hit and run plays where they have not made some contact and have thrown him out at second.
He stole a base against the Mets in St. Louis.
Whitey's a challenge type guy. Trying for that tailing fastball on the inside corner, just misses.
We were talking about it earlier. Whitey can get away with things a lot of managers can't because of his reputation.
No doubt about it. Cardinals have stolen 200+ bases in the last 7 seasons. Line drive foul and out of play. I don't think they're going to get there this year, Fran, with 135 as of this moment.
And of course, they lost McGee for quite a few games this year. I heard Mike Shannon tell Howie Rose yesterday that he thinks there's going to be wholesale changes with the Cardinals during the offseason.
A lot will depend on how the Cardinals finish up. Another toss to first base by Viola. I think clubs nowadays see an opportunity. There's Willie McGee. It's Vince Coleman to his right, nursing another pulled hamstring. Fouled out of play again. Still 1-2. This is the only game underway. Chicago will be at Philadelphia this afternoon also.
And then the Cubs and the Cardinals play over the weekend.
That's why there's day games on this Thursday afternoon. They're going into Chicago to play. The rules in baseball say that under certain timing, as far as when the plane can arrive in the city where the teams are going to be playing, it has to be a day game. Ball inside. 2-2 now.
Keep in mind the Pirates come into Shea Stadium tomorrow night. So come on out and see the action here at Shea Stadium. They're here Saturday and then Sunday. Sunday's game is sold out. And by the way, tomorrow night, if you can't make it out to Shea, you can catch the action here on SportsChannel. And again on Saturday afternoon, right here on SportsChannel.
Line drive. Elster has it. Maybe a chance for the double play. Got it. What a play by Kevin Elster to end this top of the 4th inning. The Cardinals do score on the home run, but the Mets lead 3-1. McReynolds takes a strike. McReynolds a big home run in the game last night. And the Mets lost that game 3-2. And he's got another one, it looks like. Long fly, but no, it's not going to be out of the ballpark. That ball just died.
Yeah, it did.
I thought he hit that ball way out of the ballpark.
I think Coleman might have hurt himself chasing that ball. So
He is limping.
Yeah, it might have helped the Mets. You got to hit a ball like this and get important players hurt. It helps the team. I thought that ball had a shot at going into the seats. The ball just died.
That's why he's limping. He ran hard into that fence. Wow. There's one thing Vince Coleman does not want to do is to hurt those wheels. 0-2 to Kevin. Line drive to right. Bernansky's chasing it. Catches it. It'd be interesting at second base. Bernansky's got a good arm. The throw, safe. Aggressive base running by Kevin McReynolds gets himself a double.
Oh, it looks like the Mets are starting to they're getting it going offensively. Good hitting right here. McReynolds going the other way with authority. Nice play by Bernansky. Had trouble stopping and an outstanding throw, but McReynolds with a double. You get that feeling that they might be coming out of it.
It's been a tough year. They've showed so many signs that they're coming out of it.
Yeah. You know what I like? A good sign is Jeffries is starting to hammer the ball.
He's been hammering it for about 2 weeks.
Yeah, but I mean,
maybe 3.
Yeah, right now with authority. You gotta like it when Jeffries starts. Of course, you think
you gotta have a catalyst.
That's right.
Ground ball is short. And I'll tell you what, it touched Pendleton's glove and it fooled Ozzie Smith, and it went through Ozzie Smith. On the play, McReynolds the third, and I think they'll give Magadan a hit. They are.
Well, you need some of those also to win. You got to be good, and you got to be lucky. Here's the ball in the hole, and that ball had some funny spin on it.
That was a weird ball.
How many times you see Ozzie miss a ball completely?
Might have been blocked out. I don't know whether the back of the glove of Pendleton touched the ball or he blocked Ozzie out.
Let's see what happens here. Hits.
I mean, Ozzie's way over the ball.
He missed the ball completely.
Yep. Brings up Barry Lyons, men on first and third, nobody out. pop-up, out of play. That time, Magadan with the man on second base. Don't forget there was no outs. He was not behind in the count. It wasn't like he had 2 strikes and he had to protect the plate. Hit a weak ground ball to the left side. He's got to pull the ball there. Now he winds up getting lucky and gets a base hit and moves the runner to third base, but he didn't do the job he should have been trying to do. Luck does count.
Boy, it does.
No balls in the strike to Barry Lyons. Cardinals back all around the infield going for the double play. Strike called by home plate umpire Joe West. 0-2. Kevin Elster in the on deck circle. You see the infield, they're back. They're going to concede the run, which almost surprises me. Line shot, left center, extra bases. McReynolds scores. Magadan coming. Palazzo's holding him up. And in the second is Barry Lyons with an RBI double.
Shortstop, Kevin Elster.
Well, here's the double off the bat of Barry Lyons. This ball was smoked in the gap in left center field. Reynolds scored easily, and Sammy Palazzo wisely held Magadan at third base. Here it is again, the ball bouncing off the wall. One hop, Coleman getting the ball back in. Reynolds scoring easily, and the ball was thrown directly to the cutout man, Ozzie Smith. Sammy Palazzo holding the runner at third base. So now runners on second and third, and Mike Rourke out talking to Kinzer.
They've got the bullpen working. Almost the same as Don Zimmer did in game 2. He didn't have one of his reliable starters on the mound. He took Pico out of the bullpen, put him in there, and tried to win with the whole staff. Whitey Herzog looked like he's going to have that kind of a day today. Ted Power being injured, Matt Kinzer in now, and Carpenter warming in the bullpen.
Well, they're hoping that Carpenter will fill the role left by Todd Worrell.
Well, he's got to bring somebody in at this time in the game sometimes. This is as important as somebody in the ninth.
Especially this late in the season.
Breaking ball, strike one. Elster just looked at that curveball. First base is open with the pitcher coming up. Viola really not having a lot of at-bats. Cardinals kind of halfway in the infield. Swing and fouled back, 0-2. Cardinals not conceding any more runs. They're down 4-1. Ozzie's about halfway, but he's so quick. When he starts moving in, more infielders should do that, I think, Fran. They get in a set position and they get right in on the grass and they kind of lock themselves in. Ozzie, being the great fielder he is, knows he can bounce in quickly. Bad swing and a miss by Kevin Elster on a pitch way out of the strike zone. First strikeout for Matt Kinzer.
And here's the last pitch to Kevin Elster. Breaking ball down and out of the strike zone. You can get those hitters to chase that pitch with 2 strikes.
Again, the Mets struggling with a man on third and less than 2 outs. Barry Lyons did not struggle, though. Shot a double into the gap, way outside the Viola. Frankie should hope Kinzer gets into a wild streak. Take a strike. Again, the infield in, not conceding anything. Coleman toward the line and in and left, way in and center. Ground ball, base hit by Frank Viola. Might be a play at the plate. They're holding up Lyons. He misses it. Lyons is coming to score, and on an error by Milton Wilson, I'm sorry, by Milt Thompson, Lyons scores. Frankie Viola said, I'll take a little bit of this myself.
That's right. That's a new wave. Frank Viola here says, I'm going to drive him in from third base. It's the ball right up the middle. Rusty told you the infield was drawn in. Magadan scored. Lyons was held up at third base. Thompson dropped the ball. Lyons scored, and he is happy. Frank Viola.
Strike on the outside corner to Jeffries. They're going to give Milt Thompson an error. Imagine that is not going to be an earned run against Matt Kinzer. Jeffries strike 2. Good breaking ball that time.
He had a great at bat his last time up.
That's one of the best at bats he's ever had in his life, much less in the big leagues.
Yeah, fouled off 9 pitches and then hit really a big home run. Whitey's saying, I hope this kid doesn't get hot.
He is hot. Down the right field line. Viola's in front of him. He's chugging the third. Jeffries is picking him up, and he's going to trot in a second with a double. His second double of the ball game. He's got a double, a 2-run homer, and a double.
Look at these guys. There's a shot down the right field line off the bat of Greg Jeffries. And Jeffries cruises into second base with a double. Boy, is he hammering the ball. Just what the Mets need, a shot in the arm from Greg Jeffries.
I'm surprised Whitey's letting Kinzer pitch. Swing and a miss by Samuel. No balls and a strike, 1 out. Jeffries at second, Viola at third. Vince Coleman playing about as deep as you can possibly play in left field. Everybody else in the normal positions. Way inside, up and in. Ball 1. 1-1. That breaking ball, not a strike. 2 balls and a strike. It's Bob Tewksbury warming now in the bullpen. When he sat down Carpenter, got Tuke up. Ground ball foul at third. Viola, having been in the American League, has not had much of a chance to work on his base running. After the first hit he got in his career, he wound up getting picked off at second base.
And here he is as a base runner, getting out of the way of the ball.
Just going to say he had a little trouble there. I'm glad it wasn't a line drive.
Oh, he challenged it. He started it.
Yeah. 2-2. Ground ball to third. Pendleton doesn't make the play. Ozzie Smith grabs it, but the Mets score a run. We'll see how they score it.
Well, you can help Red Foley out with this. He's the official scorer. How would you score it? Pendleton, one of the best in the business at third base, unable to come up with that ball. I guess you'd give him an error. But if he's at home, give him a hit. That's an error.
They had 2 errors coming into that.
That'd be a tough.
Now they just gave an error.
Yeah,
they just gave an error.
Well, it's a big error for Pendleton, and the Mets so far in the 4th inning have scored 4 runs. They now lead 7-1.
Howard Johnson up. Howard struck out his first time up. Hit a line shot home run over the right field wall. Lazy fly ball down the line. Pendleton giving chase, but can't get there. Jeffries was tagging all the way. Had Pendleton caught that ball, Jeffries would have scored.
We've seen Howard get a few hits like that this year because he's waiting longer on the pitch. And it helps that they respect him. He's a pull hitter. He has a lot of power, and they play in the pull and they play him deep. And when he does that, he's able to pick up some hits.
White Rat not too happy right now.
Yeah, Whitey owns a restaurant in St. Louis.
Yes, he does. He might lead the league in people that have restaurants.
I know. Big, not
Mike Shannon.
Mike Shannon. Ozzie Smith.
Yeah. Fouled straight back, 0-2.
And then in the offseason, you saw a shot of Whitey Herzog and Davey Johnson. They have a fishing school together.
It's really like a camp.
Same thing.
Well, they're not teaching them. They're trying to throw the hooks into the school to get the fish. There's Jeffries at third. Samuel at first. 0-2 on Johnson. There goes Sammy. High fly ball to right. Brunansky's got a good arm. Jeffries is tagging at third. I don't think they'll send him. It's a big fake. Big throw over the cutoff man. But it was almost impossible for Samuel to take advantage of it. 0-1. Jeffries was able to take advantage of one of the Cub outfielders who kind of relaxed in center field. Did not think Jeffries was going to be going. Jerome Walton took about 4 or 5 strides before he let rid of the ball. Jeffries got him. Strawberry did not get that pitch. 1-1. In an inning like this, anything can happen. Samuel good speed at first. Jeffries good speed at third. We'll see if Davey Johnson tries to pull a double steal here. Shot by Strawberry. Just foul. He's going to have to make a decision on his career. There goes Samuel. The catcher, unaware almost that he was going. Todd Zeal didn't even make a throw.
Yeah, well, the Cardinals live by the steal. No matter what.
First baseman gives you a scream. Strawberry, swing and a miss, strike 3. That'll do it for the Mets in the bottom of the 4th, but they scored 4 big runs, and they now lead the Cardinals 7-1. Milt Thompson leading it off. Takes a ball.
I tell you, Rusty, that 2nd Avenue deli will be jammed tonight.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, boy. See all these people in the deli.
Line drive by Milt Thompson, his 2nd hit of the game. What a job he's doing for the Cardinals this year. Takes ball 1. Kind of an unusual stance for this young rookie. Holds his hands very close to his body.
Seems to be
very upright.
And very relaxed. Similar to Eric Davis.
High pop-up. Jeffries with the glasses down. He's there. 1 out. Milt Thompson at first. Swing and a miss by Wilson. Even though the Cardinals do run a tremendous amount, I don't think you're going to see them being real aggressive right here on the bases. Another swing and a miss by Wilson.
Well, Milt Thompson has 24 stolen bases. He's been caught 8 times. He does not have a real big lead.
Very conservative. The big thing is you can't get caught on a line drive when you're down by 6 runs, so you don't want to get your body momentum going toward the other base too quick. Ball outside, 1-2. You can take a conservative lead and actually get caught on a double play if you bounce off right at the end. If you're going to be playing conservative, you have to play conservative. Can't let that body start moving. Swing and a miss. Wilson's out of there. Jerry Crawford at first base. Barry Lyons asking.
Well, let's take a look at
Davey Johnson. Yeah, Davey Johnson was unhappy with the umpiring last night. Now I don't know what they're yelling at each other, but they're smiling while they're doing it.
Well, we'll see in a moment who was right and who was wrong. Here, let's take a look. Was Joe West right? Yes, he was. It was a foul tip. It hit the ground.
It didn't look like it tipped the bat.
No, it
Doesn't
didn't.
make any difference if he doesn't tip the ball.
That's right.
Cardinals might have got a break there. How about they did get a break? Fly ball down the right field line, out of play. Nice crowd out here for a ball game. U.S. Open going on next door. Thursday afternoon, the kids back in school. Pretty representative crowd. Curveball gets him this time. Number 4 for grounded out to short, flew out to left. Takes ball 1.
That was the okay changeup right there.
Howard Johnson way in at third base. There's a strike, 1-1. Coleman for the first time really using the bunt as a weapon in that 5-game series here against the Mets. The last time the Cardinals were in town, he tried numerous times to lay down a bunt. Swing and a miss, strike 2. He was trying to bunt the ball to Howard Johnson. Howard playing in with Magadan playing first, Jeffries playing deep, and the left-hander with not a lot of speed, Viola on the mound. Hey, Tommy Agee, how about that? Ground ball to third. Howard Johnson has it over to first. Got it. So the Mets get out of this one. They do strand a run, the Cardinals do, and on the TWA scoreboard, Kevin McReynolds takes a strike.
So don't miss the live pregame activities for Jerry Kuzman this Saturday at 1, only on SportsChannel. Should be a great day here at Shea.
Soft liner right at Pendleton. Probably got McReynolds' back.
It did.
Tewksbury with a curveball. Ball 1 to Dave Magadan.
They tell me Jerry Kuzman, I never had the opportunity to play on the same team with Jerry, but they tell me he's quite a character.
He was a great teammate.
Great pitcher.
Yes, he was. Line shot by Magadan. Base hit in front of Bernansky.
That was a nice play by Bernansky. He charged that ball, was unable to come up with it in the air, and had it catching on the hop. Well, we have Le Grand Orange and
Le Grand Bleu. That's Le Petit Bleu.
You learned the French language when you were in Montreal, didn't you?
I tried to study. I studied hard. I'm not very versed in it. I can't have a general conversation. But I was able to speak a little bit and say some things about baseball and get around town a little bit.
I remember I've traveled with you up Montreal this year.
Fair ball down the left field line. Lyons is going to go into second with a double. They're going to hold Magadan at third. The Mets bats are alive today.
And Barry Lyons picks up his second double. Smoked that ball down the left field line. He's happy. Only when you hit are you happy. Well, I'll tell you, right over the bag. Makes you feel good. The Mets have runners on second and third. They're going to try to keep this good feeling throughout this game, and I'm sure for the rest of the year.
Kevin Elster stranded people on third base last time up. He went down on strikes. He got on an error in his first time up and scored a run. Big statements being made today by Barry Lyons and Dave Magadan, getting an opportunity to start here again. It's the first game Magadan started in a while. Real slop off speed pitch by Tewksbury. He had some trouble with his arm, Fran. Doesn't look like he's throwing very good. Swing and a miss at a bad breaking ball. Kevin is really jumping at it today.
Tewksbury looks like he's short-arming the ball to the plate.
Yeah, he's not popping at all.
Yeah, a lot of times that's a sign of a sore arm. Of course, when you're fighting for a job, unlike Dwight Gooden, you're not going to be able to sit around. Dwight Gooden is sitting around because the Mets want him healthy. And like Bob Tewksbury, he wants to secure a job.
Puts a little more pressure on you. 1 out, men on second and third. 1-1 on Kevin Elster. Hard ground ball to short. Ozzie Smith goes to first. The run scores. Mets lead 8-1.
Ozzie did take a look at the plate. He was thinking about it, but his only play was the first, and he got the job done. 8-1 Mets.
It's going to bring up Frank Viola, who drove in a couple of runs with an RBI single his last time up. Ground ball through the middle with the infield drawn in. Hard ground ball by the second baseman. They're going to hold lines up. Bernansky's arm is just too strong. Oh, a bad hop. But Tewksbury doing his job backing up the catcher, while people would have been running all over the place.
Frank Viola just smoked that ball out to his old teammate Tom Bernansky. Watch this. Viola getting his confidence. It's a bullet. Bernansky coming up, makes the throw, and the ball takes a hop over the catcher's head, but it's backed up by Tewksbury.
Tewksbury just threw fastball for a strike, tried to throw it right down the heart. Viola laid the bat on it well.
And look who's batting.
Jeffries with 2 doubles and a home run. His batting average up to .252. What a job. Long fly ball. Deep. Bernansky's going back. Home run! Greg Jeffries hits his second home run of the game. 4 for 4.
Those guys must be Met fans up there. That's the crew from the, I believe it's pronounced Josephus Daniels. Josephus Daniels. And Greg Jeffries has them dancing in the aisles here.
Time called by Juan Samuel. Samuel is now had to follow 2 home runs by Greg Jeffries. You can bet his front foot is a little tender.
You mean they might throw at him?
Just you got to have it a little bit tender. You never know what's going to happen.
Well,
Tewksbury does throw a ball.
It's amazing. Jeffries is on the ball, and he's been hitting the ball hard for the past few weeks, but he's out smoking today.
Country Joe West says it hit the corner. 1-1.
I'll tell you, these teams that are challenging the Mets are going to take a look at the box score tomorrow and say, uh-oh, he's getting hot.
Another big off-speed pitch by Tewksbury.
Major league players, the first thing they reach for in the morning is the box scores. We'll take a look at Jeffrey, see him with the 2 home runs.
Ball and 2 strikes, 2 down. Up and in.
Well, here's the home run. His second home run of the game. He smokes this ball. Ball gets over the wall. Bernansky in pursuit. What a day for Greg Jeffries.
Another slow breaking ball. That's been the only pitch that's been a worker for Tewksbury.
Another look at that home run. Turns on it. Opens those hips. Ralph Kiner's in the press room. He's happy. His hips open up. The bat comes through the hitting zone. Over the wall. What a psychological lift for the Mets today.
Way outside by Tewksbury. Full count to Juan Samuel. Mets ahead 11-1. 11 hits. 11 runs on 12 hits. Foul on the side. Still 3-2. You bet Davey Johnson and his coaching staff and some of the management of the Mets, they haven't had a breather in a long time.
How about Frank Viola?
Frank Viola could break this game up into about 5 starts and get 4 wins. Ground ball to third. Pendleton up with it. Over to first. Mets are out of there, but not without scoring 4 more runs. After 5 full innings, it's the Mets 11 and the Cardinals 1. Right. Everybody in the infield is the same. Frank Viola still on the mound, and Ozzie Smith the hitter. Fastball, ball 1. Maybe Johnson electing to give some of his everyday guys a little rest. Ball 2. Ozzie Smith is a good leadoff hitter in an inning like this when you're down by 10 runs. Takes a strike. It's 3-0 now. If he swings at this, I'll die. Ball 4. Oquendo takes a ball. I'll tell you, the game he pitched against the Dodgers when he threw 84 pitches is one of the finest pitch games I've ever seen.
Oh, he pitched a masterpiece and had a beat one of the best in the game, Oral Hershiser.
High fly ball to center field. Miller with the glasses down. Carry on coming in. Miller making the play. 1 out. Pedro Guerrero 1 for 2. He has a ground ball. Howard Johnson cuts it off. Goes to second to Jeffries to 1 to first. Safe. So the Mets cut down the lead runner. Guerrero hustling down the first baseline. Stops that double play.
They're down by 10 runs, and here is the play. A true throw to Jeffries. And Jeffries jumping over the runner. Nice pivot by Greg Jeffries. Biggest thing in the pivot is getting a true throw from the infield.
That's the 96th double play by the Mets. They are last in the league in that category. They didn't get a double play there. It's the 95th double play they got on that play that was really not a 6-4-3. The DP, the line drive to the shortstop. And the shortstop threw to first. Elster made a fine play and got the double play. That was the 95th double play for the Mets. High fly ball. Jeffries drifting back. That's going to do it for the Cardinals here in the top of the 6th inning. They strand a runner and they trail 11-1. So line drive, base hit by Howard Johnson to right field. Ball's in front of Bernansky. Tim Jones was the shortstop you looked at.
Right fielder, number 32, Mark Carrion.
Well, there's Senior Vice President of New York Mets, Al Harrison, and Rusty and I saw him before the game in the press room. Al was living pitch to pitch, wasn't he, Rusty?
Al is a very anxious person sometimes.
He was right on top of all the pitches. He's sitting in there with his daughter, Paige. Paige is very relaxed.
She was having a good time.
Yes,
she had the opening day of school. She was relaxed.
Number 35, Craig Shipley.
Greg Shipley just went in for Howard Johnson at first base. This is going to be like a spring training game before it's over. Line shot pulled foul. Mark Carrion has been hot. 17 hits in his last 48 at bats. It's a .354 pace. Leon Durham playing behind Shipley at first. One and one.
By the way, we want to remind you once again, the Pirates are here tomorrow night, Saturday and Sunday. Tickets still available Friday and Saturday, but Sunday, we remind you, is sold out.
We talked about Jerry Koosman in the Hall of Fame induction ceremony that's going to take place. It's on Saturday. It's all going to be live and exclusive right here on Sports Channel starting at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, we'll have an extended pregame show.
We want to remind you, if you really want to get here on time for that, you're going to have to leave early, because with the combination of the U.S. Open and this particular game with the Mets, it's going to be tough traffic, extremely tough traffic. We advise mass transit if you can do it, because it's going to be a mess out here over the weekend.
Big day for Jerry Koosman. He meant so much to the Mets, like Rusty Staub and Buddy Harrelson and Tom Seaver. It's a nice thing, the Mets Hall of Fame.
Tremendous honor. Breaking ball gets carry on. Second baseman Booker. Shipley getting in between, and Booker throws the ball to second base.
Oh, they had Shipley at third base by 3/4 of the baseline.
Well, it's one of those games, that's all Whitey's saying. His team's down by 10. They're going to give an error to the second baseman.
Yeah, but Whitey doesn't forget much.
First baseman, Dave.
Here it is again. Booker unable to come up with it. Ball hits off the glove. Probably took his eye off the ball, hoping to get the force play. Now Shipley rounds second base and stopped. He thought about going back. Booker had to see him, and Shipley made it easily to third base.
An uncharacteristically poor game defensively by the Cardinals. Fastball outside to Magadan. Magadan struck out his first time up, but then hit two blue darters to right field for base hits. Actually, the last time up was a blue darter. The first time up, he finessed a little ground ball between short and third. One out. Thornton at first. Shipley at third. Fouled straight back. 1-1. 13 hits and 11 runs for the Mets. 4 hits and 1 run for the Cardinals. But 4 big errors by the St. Louis Cardinals in this game today. Off speeds pitch, a little fly ball to left. Coleman's there, makes the play. It's a little underhand toss. It's going to be a sacrifice fly and an RBI for Magadan. And the Mets now lead 12-1.
Here it is, 12 runs on 13 hits. Cardinals 1 run on 4 hits. 4 errors by the Cards. They do it with defense and speed.
And doing a lot of little things correctly.
Yeah.
Today is not their day. Barry Lyons popped up to the shortstop. He had an RBI double, followed by another double. He has 1 run scored. Off speed pitch inside. Tewksbury, who at one time hit a pretty good sinking fastball, really struggling out there, Fran.
Yeah, like I said, looks like he's short arming the ball to the plate.
It's a shame to see that. He was a good looking young pitcher. High ground ball to the second baseman Booker. He gets this one, tags second base. Just
Pendleton, and the first pitch lined to right field, a base hit. So Pendleton, who lined into a double play his last time up, picks up his first hit of the game.
Center fielder, Milt Thompson.
Question marks. Why can't the Mets do it every day, huh?
it has been, as I've said a few times, Ralph, the most Jekyll and Hyde season I've ever seen a ball club have.
So now runner at first base, no one out, and Milt Thompson the batter. Milt 2 for 2, a double and a single, and he takes the first pitch for ball 1. Pendleton, the runner at first base, not being held on by Magadan. Mets figuring the Cardinals will shut it down as they lead by a score of 12-1. The pitch back, a called strike, 1 ball, 1 strike. Cardinals came into this game trailing the Cubs by a half game. And the pitch back is fouled out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes. When the Mets beat the Cardinals 4 out of 5, in the last series played here. That was back on August 13th. The Cardinals dropped to 6.5 games back. After that, they won 17 of their next 22 to get within 1/2 games of the Cubs. And a strikeout recorded as Milt Thompson swings at a wild pitch.
The catcher, Todd
He
Zeile.
goes down on strikes. 5th strikeout for Viola. And that'll bring up Todd Zeile. Zeile 0 for 2. Zeile has flied out to center field and popped up to second. And he hits it hard over the third baseman's head. Ball fielded and thrown back in. And so now runners at first and second with the Mets leading by 11. Zeile picking up his first hit ever against the New York Mets. And he picks it up off Frank Viola. 6 hits now for the Cardinals. One of them a home run by Pedro Guerrero for the only run. And it's going to be Jim Lindeman as the pinch hitter for the pitcher.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention.
Lindeman hitting 122 on the season with 2 RBIs.
Number 15.
Lifetime batting average of .216 with 11 home runs in 3 years in the major leagues, and that's how you get a bad bat.
That is not what you would call a good hack.
First round draft choice of the Cardinals in June of 1983. He was 24th in the nation.
Those guns he's got, it might have been by the football Cardinals.
And another wild swing and a miss, strike 2. So a 2-strike count with runners at first and second. 1 man out. We're in the top of the 7th inning. The Mets leading 12-1. And a swing and a miss. So Lindeman down on 3 pitches.
Number 6 for Frank Viola.
Left fielder.
Good
Vince
fastball
Coleman.
up and in. Gets Lindeman all tied up. That was a rough at bat.
It really was. Short trip up there and a fast trip
Oof.
back. That'll bring up Vince Coleman, who is 0 for 3. Coleman hitting .265, strike 1. Cardinals with Coleman, Smith, Oquendo, Guerrero, Bernansky, and Pendleton, along with Thompson, all with a chance to play in over 140 ball games. So they have really been in a set lineup for this year as far as the regular players are concerned. The pitching staff, another story.
Guerrero, Oquendo, and Pendleton have only missed 1 game apiece this year.
They really have a chance to be in 150 ball games. The pitch gets away from Lyons, a throw to third in the dirt, and blocked there at third base. Ball rolling over to Elster, the shortstop. That should go as a wild pitch as the runners move up.
Let's take a look at it. Down in the dirt a little bit. Ball that could have been handled just kind of skipped underneath the glove of Barry Lyons. They're going to call out a pass ball.
So the pass ball as is charged. Kind of a tough call on Lyons, although they don't really count up the pass balls unless you have a lot of them at the end of the year. 2-1 pitch, and it is taken for ball 3. 3 balls, 1 strike.
There's one thing Barry Lyons has established this year is that he's a good receiver, Ralph. That more than anything, I think, has changed everyone's opinion of him.
And it was a changed opinion because he was not regarded as a fine receiver. And he's had a chance. Coleman thinking he has a walk, tosses the bat away, and Joe West, who has a short fuse to start with, won't be too happy with that.
Well, he kind of gave Coleman and Coleman's defense a little bit of a late call. Watch. He's going now. He doesn't hurt anything, and now he's starting to call the play.
So Cowboy Joe West bringing Coleman back for another shot, and he goes after a bad pitch, hits it down to Shipley, and his throw across the infield in time for the out. And that will retire the side. So 2 hits and 2 men left on base. The score at the end of 6.5 innings, the Mets 12. Same crowd here today as the Mets lead it by a score of 12-1.
That's a beautiful part of the crowd right there. What a pretty girl.
Pretty girl. With a pretty smile. Pagnassi has gone in to play third base in place of Terry Pendleton. Pagnassi normally a catcher. Lindemann has stayed in the ball game. He'll be in left field. Out in right field, John Morris, a local product and a new pitcher in the game. The batter, Kevin Elster, and the pitch is fouled back out of play.
The pitcher is Carpenter.
Chris Carpenter, the new pitcher, the 4th pitcher used by Whitey Herzog. 2 and 4 in the year with no saves, an earned run average of 3.58. This is his 31st game. He's worked 15 1/3 innings, and the slider swung on missed.
Guy out of the University of Georgia, Ralph, really looked good as a young player. They might have rushed him a little bit and might have hurt him.
And he strikes out Elster, who is 0 for 4 in the game. So Carpenter, the pitcher.
I really liked him in spring training. He was very impressive in a couple of outings that he was in against the Mets. I asked who he was. They said he was an outstanding young prospect. Was the #1 draft choice by the. Sure, if you check in a little book of yours, you can find that out.
He was the #1 draft choice. That is right.
I know that book is all telling.
Tom O'Malley is the pinch hitter for Viola. Viola, the big hitting star of the ball game, 2 for 2 with a run batted in. And
I think he's going to come out second. Viola.
Yeah, I think Jeffries might happen to get the award today. That fellow right there just couldn't handle the tension of this ball game as the Mets lead it by a score of 12-1. Tom O'Malley, the most valuable player in the International League this year, playing the Tidewater. His first at bat this year. He started his career with San Francisco. Played his first game in the major leagues here at Shea Stadium. Took the red eye in from Phoenix. His second game, he hit a home run against the Mets. Tom O'Malley batting for Frank Viola. And he goes right on through the fastball. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Viola throwing 101 pitches. O'Malley at Tidewater hit .295, 5th in the International League. He had 15 home runs, 5th in the National League. 84 RBIs to lead the National League, and this one looped out to the shortstop and taken there by Tim Jones. So O'Malley in his first at bat for the New York Mets. Very soft line drive to shortstop. And now the applause for the hitting star of the ball game, Greg Jeffries, with a total of 12 bases in this ball game. Total bases of 12, 2 home runs, 2 doubles, 4 for 4. And a drive to right, going back as a right fielder, Bernansky, and he makes the catch. And make that Morris who made the catch, and a quick inning. So at the end of 7, the Mets 12 and the Cardinals 1.
3.60 earned run average. Does not have a save. 12th game, 15 innings pitched, given up 15 hits, walked 12, and struck out 5.
So Viola leaving the ball game on the winning side, a chance to pick up his 3rd victory against 4 losses. As the Mets lead it by a score of 12-1. Musselman with his first pitch, it's ball 1, working to Tim Jones, batting for the first time. And it's hit right up the middle, and a base hit as Shipley makes the try, but it goes on through, picked up by Miller in center field. And the 7th hit for the Cardinals as Jones gets his first. Jones hitting .254 before the base hit with no home runs and 7 runs batted in. That'll bring up Rod Booker. Booker batting for the first time. Booker hitting .000. He's 0 for 3 this season. And he hits the first pitch to center field. Miller with the glasses down, tracking back, and he makes the catch. 1 away. Jones back to first, and Mets fans, nothing cools down a hot summer's thirst faster than an ice cold Busch beer. So be sure to have plenty of smooth tasting Busch beer on hand wherever you're enjoying this game. So 1 away, a runner at first, and the batter will be Leon Durham, also batting for the first time. Durham trying to make a comeback after going on a rehab program for drugs, hitting .083. He's had 1 hit and 12 at bats. And he takes the pitch low for ball 1, a breaking ball.
He did get a big game-winning, game-ending RBI his last few days for the Cardinals.
And he swings right through a fastball. 1 ball, 1 strike.
At one time, Durham ran rather well, Ralph. He's gotten a little heavy now. Of course, he's gotten a little older.
Lifetime batting average of .278 with 147 career home runs. And he did steal at one time, 106 career stolen bases. 9 years in the major leagues prior to his appearance here this year. He was released by Cincinnati in November 1988. And he hits a high towering fly ball to center. Miller over there to make the call. And he makes the catch. So Durham skies out to center. 2 men away. Jones again back to first base, and that'll bring up John
Right
Morris.
fielder, number 33, John Morris.
And Morris also batting for the first time in this game. Morris, born in Freeport, New York. Attended Seton Hall University for 3 years, and he takes the first pitch for ball 1. Morris began his college career as a pitcher. And a check swing foul ball, 1 ball, 1 strike. He was selected by Kansas City in the first round of the June 1982 draft, the 10th selected that year in the nation. Traded to St. Louis for outfielder Lonnie Smith in 1985. Lifetime batting average at .258 with 4 home runs and 3 years in the major leagues. And a swing and a miss. 2 balls, 1 strike. Mets leading 12-1. They got 3 runs in the 3rd, 4 in the 4th, 4 in the 5th, 1 in the 6th. And Greg Jeffries with 2 home runs and 2 doubles and 5 at bats, a hitting star of this ball game. Hands down. Although Viola was 2 for 2, he probably thinks he is.
He'll have something to chirp about, that's for sure.
His first major league hit was off of Hershiser, so that should tell you something. Then got picked off at second base. And the foul ball off the fastball, 3-2. When Viola and Hershiser hooked up, it was the first time in the history of Major League Baseball that 2 Cy Young Award winners pitched against each other in their reigning year, or after their reigning year. Viola, the first man ever traded after winning the Cy Young Award in the next year. And a swing and a miss, and Morris is struck out. So 1 hit and 1 left, and the score at the end of 7.5 innings. The Mets 12 and the Cardinals 1.
When it comes to roominess, the 1989 Toyota Camry will make you sit down and take notice. It's spacious and comfortable. Best of all, the Camry gives you Toyota quality and room with a great view.
When you need a cellular phone, the Wiz and Cellcom are the singular source for everything cellular. Nobody beats the Wiz.
Hey, video files. The Mets are in one heck of a pennant race, and they also have one heck of a video deal for you. Get this, not one but two. In fact, not one, not two, but three Mets videos. You get the Mets 1989 highlights video, which will cover the Mets' entire 1989 season. You get the revised and updated Amazing Era, which documents Met history from 1962 through the 1988 playoffs. And you get the lighter side of Mets baseball. It's a humorous look at Met characters and wacky Met moments from Casey Stengel to Roger McDowell. Each video will contain exclusive footage and interviews and will be at least 45 minutes in length. 3 great new videos from the Mets and Sports Illustrated. Look for more details in mid-September or call 718-507-TIXX for information.
Center fielder number 25, Keith Miller.
And Buddy Harrelson, the new third base coach for the New York Mets. Buddy has been out there before as the Mets lead it by a score of 12-1, bottom half of the 8th inning. And the first pitch to the leadoff batter popped up into left field. Keith Miller, the batter. Lindemann runs off the shortstop Tim Jones and makes the catch. So Miller 0 for 1 in his first at bat.
The shortstop number 35.
That'll bring up Craig Shipley. Shipley batting for the first time. He entered the game as a pinch runner for Howard Johnson. Shipley in his first at bat for the Mets, and the high slider for ball 1. Chris Carpenter, the pitcher for the Cardinals, the 4th used. Ted Power, the pitcher record on the losing side. Frank Viola, the pitcher record on the winning side for the Mets, as they lead by a score of 12-1. And Shipley hits it in the left center field for a base hit. Ball played back in. And Shipley 1 for 1 for the New York Mets. Let's get their 14th base hit, and then I'll bring up Mark Carrion. Carrion has batted once and has struck out. Carrion hitting .289 with 4 home runs, 9 runs batted in. 3 of his 4 home runs have been as a pinch hitter. And he is tied for the National League lead in that department with Luis Salazar. And that pitch taken, a call strike, 1 ball, 1 strike. The Mets record for pinch hit home runs in one season, 4. Danny Heap did that. The all-time record is 6. Johnny Frederick of the Brooklyn Dodgers had 6 pinch hit home runs. And the fastball blooped into right field. It might drop, and it will drop. Shipley the second base and holding there, and Carrion with a base hit. Hit number 15.
Well, he didn't hit it very hard, but he hit in exactly the right spot. Booker diving, can't get there. Right fielder Morris over to throw it back in. Smart hitting. Hit it where they ain't.
Wee Wally Keeler said that way back in 1898 or something like that.
It was a long time ago.
And Lou Thornton now the batter. Thornton batting for the second time, was safe on an error his first time up.
His base running play the other night, tagging up at second base, moving on to third. Big play in the game.
He hits it hard, and it's bobbled at second base by Booker. The throw to first base not in time, and that will go, I'm sure, as an error, and it's error number 5 by the St. Louis Cardinals in today's ball game. 2 of them made against Thornton.
And that's the second one by Booker. He hit the ball hard. Did not get out of the box very good. Kind of watched that play for a second, then he kicked it in and almost got thrown out at first base. That would have been a bad play. Gee, when you're a rookie, how can't you run it out?
That brings up Dave Magadan. Magadan 2 for 3 with an RBI and a sacrifice fly. And he hits a ground ball to Booker again. It's a force play at second. The throw to first not in time, and on the attempted double play, Shipley scores, and the Mets lead it by a score of 13-1. Magadan gets his second run batted in. So now Mackey Sasser, the batter.
The catcher, number 2, Mackey Sasser.
Sasser batting for the first time. Batting .287 on the year with 1 home run, 21 runs batted in. Sasser replacing Barry Lyons behind the plate. Lyons a good day, 2 for 4. And Carpenter's first pitch to Sasser, fastball for ball 1. Runners at first and third. And Sasser fooled by the breaking ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Mets will win the series here at Shea Stadium against the Cardinals. This ball hit out to right field. Moving back is John Morris. He has plenty of room and time, and he makes the catch. That retires the side. So 1 run on 2 hits. There was 1 error and 2 men left on base. The score at the end of 8. The Mets 13 and the Cardinals 1.
Buyers are flocking to the Chevy Geo Go-Getters like savings are going out of style. And they well may be, because unless you act now, you won't beat the $1,000 price rise coming next month. Unless you act now, you won't get the option packs, which can save you thousands. They end next month, as do cashbacks and 2.9% financing. More thousands. All this, plus dynamite clearance time deals at the Chevy Geo Go-Getters. It all adds up to big thousands. Rush in while savings are still in style.
Any mower that can stand up to this kind of punishment, you'd call a great mower. But do it with a mower that's 15 years old, you'd have to call it a snapper.
Snapper sales, service, and parts at Wyman's Garden Center on the Hamburg Turnpike, Wayne.
Plaza Lighting, where the art of lighting comes alive in magnificent chandeliers. Custom designed, every one of them. Hand-chosen Venetian leaded crystals, beautifully displayed. Plaza Lighting will create a chandelier for any lifestyle. You see, Plaza Lighting imports and manufactures its own lighting fixtures. Plaza Lighting, we bring your ideas to light. Route 23 South, Pompton Plains. Route 10, East Hanover.
Well, flipping baseball cards is as much a pastime as baseball itself, and Sports Channel is reliving that pastime with an adult baseball card flip-off contest. The first regional flip-off is Saturday, 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. at Essex County Community College in Newark, New Jersey. So come on down and watch Sports Channel's adult baseball card flip-off contest. There will be raffles, prizes, and more. All proceeds go to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Well, a new pitcher for the New York Mets.
It's Julio Machado. It's his first major league appearance.
Machado at St. Lucie was 1-0 with 2 saves this year. He also moved to Jackson, was 3-5 with 3 saves, and then to Tidewater was 1-2, 1 win, 2 losses, 5 saves, with an earned run average of 0.62 in 14 games. And his first pitch to Pagnozzi knocks him down. Pagnozzi got his first major league hit against the Mets, his first major league home run against the Mets. That was Sid Fernandez. And that's his first knockdown pitch against the Mets. That ball fouled back out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Needless to say, the young man is a little bit worked up.
Born in Venezuela and lives there. Originally signed by the Phillies as a free agent. And his next pitch is fouled away. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Let's take a look at his motion here. Nice and smooth. Kind of a 3-arm delivery. Doesn't end up in a good fielding position. It looks like he's got a fine arm.
Now the pitch back is taken on the outside corner, and Pagnozzi is called out on strikes. Pagnozzi has had 3 runs batted in for the St. Louis Cardinals all year long, and each one won a ball game. 2 in extra innings and 1 against the Mets. So this time he is called out on strikes, and that'll bring up Milt Thompson. Johnny Lewis, the hitting instructor of the St. Louis Cardinals, and he'll be remembered forever for the home run he hit in the 10th inning off Jim Maloney, breaking up his no-hit, no-run game. Milt Thompson takes, and it's a fastball for ball 2.
Davey Johnson getting a little work in the bullpen for some of his pitchers.
And that's ball 3. Machado, 4 years in the Philadelphia Philly organization. Was 19 and 20 with 16 saves in the minor leagues, and he takes that pitch right on through for a called strike. 3-1. He was released by Philadelphia following spring training and signed by the Mets and sent to Pensacola on loan. He was returned and then sent to St. Lucie, and this ball bounced over near second base, and the throw to first base in time for the out as Jeffries picks up the assist. So the Cardinals down to their last out, and it will be Todd Zeile as the batter. Todd 1 for 3 today. Zeile playing in his first game ever against the Mets. 1 for 3, a single off Viola back in the 7th inning, and Machado with a strike. And a swing and a miss, strike 2. So a strike away from a victory, and the pitch back, a fastball off of the glove of Sasser. 1-2. With a victory here, the Mets will have won 15 of the 18 games played between the Cardinals and Mets at Shea Stadium in the last 2 years. And it's 2-2. The Mets last year won every game against the Cardinals here at Shea. And this year, the Cardinals have won 3. 2-2. And now 3-2. Julio Machado trying to pick up the final out of this game, and the 3-2 pitch is foul tipped, and Sasser down on his knee. So the crowd here for a moment thinking it was, and ball 4. So Zeile walks, and that'll bring up Jim Linden. And he pulls it foul into the stands. Strike 1. And the fastball. One ball. His birthday, December 1st. And the fastball foul back out of play. 1-2. And the pitch is fouled back, so the count stays at 1 ball and 2 strikes. If the Cubs lose and they're playing in Philadelphia, the Mets could be 2.5 games out of first place with a Cub loss. And the breaking ball for ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Sasser blocking the ball in the dirt. Runner at first base, Zeal holding there. That's 13 runs on 15 hits, no errors. The Cardinals 1 run on 7 hits and 5 errors. And a strike 3, swing and a miss. So that will end the ball game. A laugher for the New York Mets in the final meeting between the Cardinals and the Mets this year. Winning pitcher Frank Viola, he's now 3-4 in the year. 2-1 against the St. Louis Cardinals as Whitey Herzog leaves. They're on their way to Chicago. And the losing pitcher was Ted Power. Power now with a record of 6-7. His second loss against the Mets, against no wins. And the hero of the ball game, Greg Jeffries, with 2 doubles, 2 home runs in 5 at bats. So the Mets pulling off a victory here, and they are now 3 games back of the Chicago Cubs, pending what the Cubs do in their ball game against the Philadelphia Phillies. Once again, the final score: the New York Mets 13, the St. Louis Cardinals 1. We'll be back with the wrap-up after these messages.
7 previous starts, 11 while he was in the game today. So it was a very relaxed Frank Viola on the mound. I don't even know if he knew how to pitch with that many runs scored.
Well, he's had a tough time all season long getting runs with the Twins and also with the New York Mets. His second victory over the St. Louis Cardinals, and his first victory in the National League was against St. Louis in St. Louis. So Viola, the winning pitcher in the ball game, but the star of the ball game was Greg Jeffries, the Texaco star of the game. Greg Jeffries, 2 doubles, 2 home runs, and a big day for him as he went 4 for 5. We'll be back with more of the wrap-up in just a moment, right after these messages.